And welcome back to Power Breakfast. I have invaded the man cave today. As we mentioned earlier, Willis Oburu is away for a few days, but not to worry, we will still tackle the issues. The panel is all here. Pastor Kuria.
My name.
Karibu sana, good to see you. Hi, Sheila from Vox.
Hi.
How you doing?
Nice to have you. I'm good.
Roy K.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're ready, but I don't like the balance.
The balance is balance.
Listen, someone had to do it.
Take your 30%.
Might as well be me. So this morning we're going to be talking about cheating and the confessions that follow. Sometimes, not always. You know, why is it that men do it? And, you know, some of the decisions behind that. So this is my first question, right? There's been a lot of cheating going on.
What do you mean
just in general.
Just in life has been going on.
In general. You know, just in the headlines we've seen, such as, you know, in the case of comedian Kevin Hart, who cheated on his first wife with his now second wife, and has now cheated on his second pregnant wife with some other random chick. It's a whole thing.
Why do you call that chick random?
We don't know her name.
She was selected.
Does not matter. He was caught on video.
Yeah.
Then he went on Facebook, I believe, and made a video, you know, to his family, apologizing, and his kids, and, you know, apologizing for the whole ordeal that he has been putting them through. So, number one, you know, do you think that once a cheater, always a cheater? Is that a standard rule, or can cheaters repent and change their ways?
You cannot become what you do. You cannot become. You can do.
So
it,
just
but
because you cheat,
you are not a cheater.
Okay. Explain.
Yeah, you are not a cheater because you cheat. We are cheaters by nature.
Okay.
It's only to choose. We choose not to cheat.
Oh.
So it's just a matter of choice.
So
I'd like
guys
to support that.
are cheaters.
Yeah, I support that. Not. I don't mean guys per se. Everybody is born a liar. We are born a liar. We are born sinners. I've seen children at work. It's amazing. You see, I think it's naturally within. Why do we sing that song to young kids? Johnny, yes, Papa. Have you eaten sugar? No, Papa. Open your mouth. And when the kid opens the mouth, the sugar is full. Yeah? Let me tell you. I think we have to accept the fact of the matter is he's correct in the sense that it's natural DNA. I think deception is natural DNA for us. It's just that, as you're saying, because of maturity and ethics, then we now grow out of the line. Kids are lying from the beginning. From the time they touch that sugar, that's the first lie right there. Then after that, it develops into politicians, which becomes corruption and so
and on.
So, as I say, it's a matter of, first of all, it's how you're grounded and how it all came to be. But I think we're still, and I'd like to just accept this, men's slant is stronger, of course. Right? So I think men have a higher slant. It's just that, honestly, I think women are catching up and doing quite a good job at it. In the latest standings and rankings, they're doing quite well on the chart.
What are these polls you've read?
I'm also conducting internal polls. For me, I just say, honestly, men are more biased, but it's just that recently, young ladies are beginning to start catching up to the game. But I think it's a result of what men have been doing.
Absolutely.
So they've just conformed to the game.
Yeah. Sheila, would you take back a cheater?
Wow. I wasn't ready.
Putting you on the spot.
I honestly don't think so. I'm going to speak for myself. I mean, once you break that trust, it's done. But I like the fact that we've sat here and we've had it from the two gentlemen on the show who said that men are cheaters. So I feel like that is the first step to healing.
Admitting your shortcomings.
And also I think for ladies it's important to know that is a possibility.
When I say men, I didn't mean gender.
you meant like man in the sense of a human being.
So what I'm trying to say is, if you cheat and you know that you have cheated, you have a chance to repent. If you repent and the person you have cheated chooses to accept the repentance, wow to that. But she has also a choice, or he. Because now, here I am. I'm a father of 4. The first one has gone to be with the Lord. And when I go for DNA, I discover the kid was not mine. Am I going to throw the 3 out of my house because of the one that was not mine?
Okay.
Suppose I also went out and left one somewhere without my knowledge, because men are explorers by nature. So it's good to when I repent, the person I'm repenting to should get that it's coming from my heart. I have repented. Forgive me.
But I think forgiveness is a process.
Yeah,
I think it's a process. And the problem with that guy is making a decision. And I'm sorry, because women are welcome moms. God created them to actually hug, right? So there's a chance that they should either accept or not accept. And the thing about repentance is not that simple. It's a process. Let the guy work through the process and prove that he genuinely is sorry, because it's a process. One thing, the worrying is, now that's when you get carried away. Now when you start doing things of counseling and stuff like that, because you think there's a guy who's trained better to stop cheating in some room somewhere. I don't believe that. Everyone's got their own life, and there's no expert sitting somewhere who's going to regenerate your life. Your life will change because you've decided to make it change. Therefore, it's very clear that you accept it's a process and it's not a moment. So should you accept or not accept the guy when it comes to tell you sorry? Me, I think honestly, you should give it time for someone to show you that they are genuinely sorry. Right. And when you give it time, give it genuine time. So because you can't sit there judgmental, from the beginning. It's like a referee in football, sitting there already making a decision that I know you're a very rough player, so every time you do anything, you go and give a kid a lollipop. I'll just check whether it's poisoned. I'll give you a chance. Give fair chance, fair game for the guy to come back.
But let me ask, in this situation for Kevin Hart, which is what we're using as point of reference.
Oh Lord, no,
the guy was married.
Yes.
And then he cheated.
Yes.
And then he said, I'm sorry, but she was like, I ain't having that. But the one he was cheating with was like, you know what, let's continue. And then he cheats on that one. Yeah. So now, this one who's been cheated on, is she supposed to forgive him? Of course. Does she have a choice? She found him cheating. In fact, she found him in the river of cheating, of lies. So, of course, he's going to give you exactly how you found him. So, in that situation, if you ask me, if you found him cheating, I mean, you've had in his previous relationships, I won't say distributor, that guy, when you find him cheating, it's a choice that you have made. Because the forgiveness also comes in levels. You can choose to decide when he cheats. Now, how many cheats? Nisawa. There are women who have sat in such situations. I have accepted that you're a cheater. I feel like I can change you, but
to a mature one.
But you're just a cheater. And then there's that one where you found this guy, you've been in a relationship, he's never done anything like this before. But then circumstances, and he's cheated. Then now you have you see, now this is his first attempt. Yeah. You have to now start navigating the waters of lies. But for me personally,
not taking them back. But what happened, because we're also talking about confessions also along with the cheating. What happened to the whole deny? Isn't that what men are supposed to do? When you get caught, you say it wasn't me.
You see, that's wrong. That's wrong. Once I'm caught, I'm caught.
But if you weren't caught, you wouldn't have confessed.
Saying anything.
Who am I going to confess to? And nobody has caught me.
Let me tell you something, guys.
No, seriously. It's not out of niceness.
Let me
just a bastard.
You know why confessing is modern? It's yeah. Confessing is a very modern thing, and you know why guys are confessing?
Screenshots.
Because of phones. Otherwise there will be no confessions going on. It's just because now the evidence is on top of other evidence and blocking other evidence.
Okay.
So you're really caught in a corner and you have to actually confess.
Speaking of confessions, we have many more examples. One being Diamond Platinum with his was it wife Zari? Are they married? What is the situation
there? Can we need to address what confessing is. Okay. You know, so if you're busted, there's screenshots and everything, you're not confessing, you're busted. Yeah? No, there has to be. You see, you can deny, but denying does not mean that you're not busted. But if you're seeing situation is coming, not like Kevin Hart where the photos have come. Diamond is not even confessing. Doesn't this girl have?
Well, he accepted the
he don't her for everything. That's not confessing.
You have a problem there.
That is covering the story, and then now you've been busted. You understand? Then now you have to come out because it's going to cost you more to keep it in.
Because the next story now is that he has a pair of twins in Burundi.
Look at that. So that is not confessing. That is busted.
No. Let's accept something here. When we're talking about confessing, Sheila, don't try and twist and play it. We're not going for petitions here.
No, you're not twisting.
We must be clear. We must be clear.
Yes, let's see the fact. Confessions are confession. Because the guy can constantly sit there and deny it from the one till Kingdom Come. You'll even say that phone looks exactly my phone. It even has the same numbers mine has. It has the same prefix. But then the fact he made is until he actually sits there and tells you, you know what, I've done this. And a true confession is when he actually adds on to what you don't know. That's what I would call a confession. If he actually sits there and adds a fact that is not been exhibited on that phone, then that is a confession.
No.
Yes, no.
Well, Pastor has said unless he's caught, he's not going to confess.
Yeah.
So is there ever a situation where you haven't been caught, but you just sit down and you look at this woman and you say...
That's why I was to come now to.
The dangerous place.
I tell you something, eh?
No, that
if you don't confess, you remain with something we call guilt conscious. I did it, I was not caught, but what about if I'm caught? So you have the guilt conscious. So it is better you confess, because the person you are confessing to actually should forgive you 490 times per day.
Per day?
That's exactly my point.
Is that in the Bible?
Yeah.
7
times 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me explain something about that mathematics of the Bible. It's always used very well. As well, you've only forgiven me 327 times. You've got 150 to go. But the fact remains that as you're talking about him confessing, realistically, he's got the strongest points when he's referring to it depends on the person you're confessing to. And that's what the problem is. The way you carry yourself determines how honest and truthful guys are to you. If you do not make an ambience or situation where a guy is comfortable telling you the truth, he tells you lies out of fear. It's like children. No, Sheila, don't open your eyes like you're seeing the future.
In fact,
this is a fact. Let me tell you something. You can't see the future. Let me tell you how it is. It's very simple. Just boil it down. Children are the most honest part of our lives.
Yes.
Right? The moment you create a scenario where the child sees you not removing just one belt, maybe 4 belts when it's time where he is caught lying, you're creating a situation where he's not going to be comfortable saying the truth. So the reason he's lying is not out of that he doesn't want to share the truth. You've not created an environment for the truth.
Okay.
The truth exists out of an environment.
I like that he gets to cheat and lie.
And then it's my fault.
Yeah, then it's my fault.
Not confessing.
Let me tell you what it is. As I've already said, we accepted here this is an animal of it's a disease of nature. It's coffee sugar. Then it goes on to honey. And then it goes to other types of honey.
But right, I feel like we need to just cut you short there. And I feel like it's important that we really clarify what confessing is. Confessing is when you have done something, just as Pastor said, and you feel that you need to come clean. You understand?
Yes.
Come clean. Not because someone has caught you.
Of course, I accept that.
You have to come clean. Like, I feel like I owe you this. And confession, part of confession is the fact that you feel
you're guilty.
You need to apologize to this person and you need to make it right.
And you'll never...
Yes,
Okay. And then the difference, hold on, the difference of what the examples that we're giving are not confessions. These are being busted. You understand? Hold on. Whether it's Diamond, whether it's Kevin Hart, all these relationships, all these clandestine things would be happening if they were not brought to light. Now, there's a difference between someone who's been busted in the cookie jar. You find that when you find a thief stealing inside your house, do you say, "Oh my God, we have to give him a chance"? He confessed.
No. I'm in acceptance. But we've accepted that the truth is that is not a confession.
Not a confession.
We totally agree.
And
let's look at where confessions come in. There are people standing there. We're saying, when should you confess, or do guys really confess, or what's the problem? Why are they not confessing? That's where I've gone to. The guy wants to confess.
I guess
the guy wants to.
I think
we're not saying, Sheila, we're not saying right or wrong. We're just saying he wants to confess. But also you can have a part to play by creating an environment where before even such garbage of lying and cheating happens, you've actually created a scenario where someone lives an honest life with you.
Roy, I think this one shows me that many people are not mature, because confession goes together with maturity.
Yes.
Once you confess, it shows you are mature. Once you don't confess, then you are living below the speedometer of maturity.
You made a point also of never repeating that mistake again.
Okay, now coming to that one. If you never repeat the same thing again, the person you had done wrong will see it surely the guy has confessed. But if you repeat, you cheat me, then you go to another wife, you cheat, and then you come and confess to me, and then you go to the third one, you cheat. This is not confession.
No. And actually, that's a politician.
And that's what's happening with Diamond and Kevin Hart.
Why are we using those examples?
These are the
but we are rubbishing them.
Because when you dig deep, why did Kevin Hart confess? Because it actually cost him money. This girl was out there blackmailing him. That's the only reason he came out. Because 2 weeks before that, the guy was on TV talking about he would never cheat.
I would never jeopardize.
I would never jeopardize my relationship. We're pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And he knew. So when he's coming out to say, I want to apologize to my family, that's not a confession. It's not even an apology. He's just covering his back. Same thing with Diamond. But there are people who are watching us right now who are probably in a situation
where they want to share something.
Yes, and the truth is, what Joey was asking, that do guys ever want to confess?
Yes, they do.
When they cheat. And Roy is telling us here that it's the woman who has created the environment where the guy cannot
I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming her. Obviously, that's the thing. Sheila, you do have other colors on your color wheel apart from black and white.
Is it
many colors.
Is it the 80-20 rule where you sit and you say, fine, my woman that I have is not, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
But she's like a solid 80%.
Yes.
Now I've left her to go for the 20 there. That was fun.
Yes.
Listen to these guys. We do not cheat because we don't love our wives, but because you want to sample what you see in another woman. But deep in your heart, you love your wife. Now, if we go with this one, then we are going to remain and die cheaters.
Yeah, of course.
We have to change, Roy.
Yes.
Somebody somewhere must change and say, from today, I want to remain with dignity and integrity. Because that is what is lacking when somebody is going to cheat.
I think what we're all confessing here is that men are actually weak right now. Right? The kind of men we're dealing with are weak. They're not willing to take the consequences of the cheating. The realistic part is because they've looked at the environment they're in, they say, you know what, I stand to lose everything or I'll not be given a chance. Because honestly, I'm telling you, there are guys, Sheila, who want to confess, right? But they don't because they feel the situation I'm in right now, there is no way I'll be given a second chance or whatever it is. But that's because we're actually weaker now. A while back, your real man would stand up and say, despite that, I will still go ahead and do what you guys think is right and completely destroy my relationship by actually telling her, this is what I did and that. And you, by the way, there's a trick I do that you don't really know, which is this and that. Wow. I'm telling you, and he loses everything.
We need to address this.
No, I'm saying, wait. And he just actually accepts it. I think right now we're weaker. We're weaker.
Let's also talk about, we've talked about what confession actually means, not repeating the mistake, going through the process of actually making it right. But there are women who will accept if a man cheats on me. No, he doesn't come clean. He just buys me nice things all of a sudden, starts acting really nice and buys me whatever I want. And I kind of know in the back of my head something might have happened. I maybe don't have proof, but nanyamazia tu nasema, oh, okay, sawa. Well, if he did that, he must feel sorry because now suddenly he's treating me nicer. Is that also considered a full confession, or is that
no? That is absolutely not. In fact, to be honest, men get away with cheating simply most of the time because of the women that they're cheating on.
Exactly.
Because if you're tolerating this kind of behavior where he goes out, he does whatever he wants, and then he comes back, and you've not technically what you're dealing with is an open relationship, because he's allowed to go out there and do whatever he wants. Actually, it's a kind of open relationship, because if you attempt, my friend, you'll be out there faster than lightning, even before the thought. A cheater always knows when he's about to be cheated on, yeah? All of a sudden, they're like, why are you being like this? You want to cheat on me? You're like, dude, how did you know I was going to cheat? Because I'm cheating, So that precedence is being set by some women who are allowing things like this to happen. So, of course, when he leaves that relationship and goes to the next one, this is how he knows how to deal with women, that they will always take him back. But coming back to this point of, as much as there's cheating going on, and we know that it's not an epidemic, now it's a national disaster, because there's so much temptation. I don't know whether to put it as temptation. Now, even what Pastor has read, guys will just go out there and do it. But the question I want to throw out to guys is, should we allow guys to just be polygamous? Because when you think about it, back in the day, cheating wasn't there because polygamy was there. Your dad has 4 or 5 wives, and it was an open discussion. But now you have lazy guys who want to have their cake and eat it, and not actually go out there and say, this is my wife.
Polygamy can work in a very mature situation. When someone says I love people for 2 different reasons, I'm sorry about this, but I'll tell you, men sometimes mean that. When they say I like her and I like her for 2 different reasons. Horrible, but it's the truth. He does actually like them. And the only way you know that by how you respect them in their own space. Right? So you'll actually find guys who he can actually split between the fact that he likes this person and likes that person. That sense of maturity doesn't exist today. That's why polygamy should die off. Right? Because you don't have the maturity and the capability to be able to handle those 2 or 3 wives, right?
But you still have
Yes.
2 or 3.
Yes, but I am. But hey, Sheila, how you give Sheila bread? She wants cake. Yeah?
So,
I'm just telling her, yes, you have a point. But if you can't say, then let's just accept that that's the way guys are. Let me tell you, when the moment you accept, now they think you've given them a license to go disrespecting women, right? It's just because we don't have that capacity where we respect the space and respect the fact that I like someone for 2 different reasons, which is a whole total
well, there was
different
an
story.
issue of politicians, since we talked a little bit about politicians and polygamy, where they were rejecting the fact that the government wanted to give them a salary cut. And the issue was brought up of medical cover for those with more than 1 wife, for children outside of wedlock, and they were saying they want the medical cover extended to those with more than 1 wife or children born out of wedlock. And then they're trying to take care of their families.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
problematic?
not Is it families there?
No. Let me
That's
tell
the
you,
real stuff.
I've never seen a cheetah with 2 spots. Once you start giving it spots, it's going to have it on the whole body. The moment you open that door, you know what's going to happen. You've created a recipe for disaster. You start now measuring which one is which ones are
wife,
which ones are the real ones or not. Then he tells you, okay, look at that picture. See, this one is hot enough to be a real one. This one is not qualified. It's not passed the exam, or it's not passed the bar.
Right.
But the fact remains is you're opening a can of worms, so it can't work. Definitely can't work. I think one of the things is that I believe women can help a situation. And whenever I give a Sheila an option of women helping, she thinks I'm saying they're to blame. There's a difference between blaming and helping a situation. If you create an environment for someone to actually be, we have said, guys, we started off by saying we're horrible. Then we're saying now you're creating an environment for us to get worse. By you actually creating a situation where I am not comfortable expressing myself with you. You create it through very subtle ways. Where someone believes, you know what, I have an environment where, despite what it is, I can explain to her, I got tempted. Because we have seen how you guys on fleek look. So it's causing a lot of trouble yourself. That's coming from women, looking very fleek. You are now going to create a new environment for me to be able to confess and come clean.
I think
The main problem I have though is the forgiving never really happens.
I think we have a very expensive life of those guys who cheat and they buy freedom. That's
Yeah.
putting yourself in a situation that how long are you going to stay in it?
Willing buyer, willing
Yes,
seller.
I have cheated her. I have bought her iPhone. I have cheated her again. I have bought her RAV4.
Where are we picking this card?
You see, why can't I change for my own benefit? Because whatever I'm buying to buy my freedom, I can use the same thing to promote or do something to my family in one way or another, instead of keeping on. And you know something, she'll not get away from me because she knows that she is benefiting out of my lies.
Well, here's another question. Why is it that women choose to stay? Is it that they've just gotten accustomed to it? Is it that they need the finances? They've got children with this person? I mean, they're all
women are very clever.
The main reason
Let me tell you,
is that
women
it's
are very
realistic.
clever.
They just realize this is what these guys are.
Yeah, they are
It
very
just
clever.
hits her like a punch. Yeah,
They are very
it hits her
clever.
one punch. That once she's gone through this twice, she realizes that's where this is the way guys are. Then she changes.
And becomes a cheater.
Now she becomes a problem.
No, but you know what?
She's now a victim of.
Yes, and you see-
Women are clever, but men are wise.
Oh Lord, I was not part of that one.
Okay,
I was looking at that one moment.
I'll prove it.
Okay.
I'll prove it. I'll prove it like this. Cunningness can make you survive in a hole, rounded by lions, but they'll never catch you. Wisdom will make you come out, start fighting the lions, and you die quickly. Why do men die quickly? Because they are trying to be wise, but the people they are dealing with, wanakuonea 18.
I like that. But you know what?
I want to go into the confession and whether it's actually accepted.
Let's first make this point. Why do women stay in relationships, especially when you know that you're being cheated on a partner? Which goes back to my point of polygamy. You understand? When you have a situation where whatever you hear of people who've been in marriage for 30 years, 40 years, and then at that point is where the guy is going out to cheat, or that's when you find out, in fact, this guy even had a family. When you find a situation like that, when a woman decides to stay, chances are you've accepted that this guy is a polygamist.
Yeah.
It's not really a cheat. It's not really a cheat. You're accepting that, because there are women who know that this guy doesn't have family out there.
Yeah.
He's taking care. In fact, if PTR's there, he stays there.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's there and come home because he's staying there. But she'll never mention it. Even at the funeral, as there, and she sees the other family, she denies that family, but she knew all along it was happening. This is a situation where we live in a society that is trying so hard to adapt to Western world, which is, and I know Pasi is going to jump at me right now, and all the people from
everything
church
is permissible.
Let's accept the fact that I'm not going to speak for Jungus because I don't know their problems. I'm not going to speak for Chinese people. I don't know what their problems are. But when it comes to African men, whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in South Africa, whether you're in Zimbabwe, whether you're in Egypt, whether you're in Sudan, yes, I know countries in Africa, they behave the same way. I'm not saying all of them, I'm not saying even 70% of them, but a large majority of African men cannot just have one woman. And as soon as the women are accepting it, you just see how men are behaving.
So back to this issue that Roy brought up of whether trust can truly actually ever be mended. Do you believe that trust can go back super glued, back 100%, the mirror is not broken anymore?
Absolutely
unless you work on it, because many guys, they are lazy. They don't want to work for it. And once now we go to sheet away, if I'm not able even to feed my family of one wife, I mean, here I become polygamous. I don't think it is going to augur well with.
So do you feel like there's always going to be that little part of a woman that still wants revenge? Like she'll take you back maybe after cheating.
And may I tell you, if you cut the heart of the first wife, she is always bitter with the rest of the wives. It's not every. But she does not have other wives. So she stays there.
Let's just say it as it is.
Why should I make somebody bitter and pretend that everything is okay?
I think
so. The worst thing in marriages and in life is pretense.
We're pretentious. Let's accept the fact. You know, guys, when we come here and argue, let's not argue about what we want it to be. Please, let's argue about what is and not what we'd like to see. An ideal situation. And I keep saying let's be real, practical, and honest about the situation. Some of us it's very hard, and Pastor, I'm not looking at you for that reason. But I'm saying let's be as practical and honest as it is about the situation.
We do have to take final comments. So these are your final comments.
Yes, I'll tell you this.
Go down.
One, trust will never be accepted again. Right? That's a fact. Two, honesty, confessions are also caused by an environment that someone lives in. If it's a confessive environment, if they can make that word, then they will confess. But all in all, I just think that we have become immature and we're not able to handle the truth, and we don't have the maturity to handle a confession today. It takes a real man to confess, a real man to confess. And I think there are exactly 6 guys left who can do that.
I know. High five.
I'm not going to do that. Just for a betrayed man. I'm not going to accept it.
All right. For me, I feel, first and foremost, if you're going to cheat, be ready to face the consequences. Don't go out there and cheat and say, I don't have enough money to be able to cater for this other woman, so I can only make her Atlante. Dude, if you go out there and decide that on top of the woman that you have, you want to have another woman on the side, then be able to take care of her as a wife and be able to acknowledge her as a wife. If you cannot, don't come to beg for apology for something that you knew what you were doing as you're getting into it. Not saying that cheating doesn't happen. When it comes to trust, for me, I say trust can never be mended 100%. Think about it. If someone breaks your, or you tell someone to do something and then they don't do it, or they break your trust, having to trust them 100% cannot happen. But yes, you can mend it maybe to about 70%. But 100%, if you even show tendencies of something like what you did, I already automatically know that, yes.
If we did not go to school, we could not be knowing how to write our names. Many people have never sat at a class where somebody is teaching about dignity and integrity. And that's why I'm calling them to our church in Bruce Spring Hotel. Every time you feel I am a teacher of the word. I'm not very well with Roy when he's saying that some things cannot change. There is nothing impossible if you put God number one. If you want to, because it's a choice you make. It's a choice you make. So I want everybody who want to change from being a cheater to become a role model. You have to make a decision. Nothing is impossible.
An invite to your church goes out to Guma on Twitter, who's saying being faithful went out with the old constitution. So I think we'll invite him to your church. Wise words from all of you. Thank you so much for being on Man Cave today. And of course, thank you at home for watching. Melissa Rule will be back next week to handle these issues that I'm not capable of handling. But thank you also for watching Power Breakfast. On behalf of myself and Freddie Ndimuli, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Keep it Citizen TV, Citizen Extra, coming up shortly.